How was I supposed to know that? I didn't know that. But I do know now. Let's see if we're alive. I don't know if we are alive or we are not live. George Michael. I stay in the toilet in the night. Yes, I sleep on the floor of the toilet. It's free housing. No, I'm not staying in this city. I'm just here right now. And then I fly away. I have a magic carpet. My magic carpet is parked outside this little village, and then I fly away on my magic carpet to India. Yeah, that's what I do. I have a magic carpet that I use for traveling. So there was a pub there, and I think there's a pub there too. I don't want to go in there. But it looks very nice in the evening. Looks very nice. That's where I peed on the her garden over there. She got really angry. Why you pee on my garden? Did you just pee on my garden wall? Are you peeing on my garden wall? It didn't look like a garden. First of all, it didn't look like a garden. Grass growing. Just a lot of grass growing.
Tram_skank says, her garden wall hasn't been wet in years. I Marlon21 sent $10. Is this pilot? Can you do 5 push-ups for a bigger donation, my friend?
I certainly can.
At Buckhorn Imports says,
I certainly can.
Bjorn, it's time for another beer.
Are we live? I certainly can. I certainly can. Five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was 5. The whole town is dead. I think I sit over there. Here's a telephone booth, but there's no telephone. It's only pictures from a war memorial story. So it's not so interesting. Let's find a bench so we can sit and smoke. They need to have a public bench. I just need one public bench. Where I could sit at the graveyard up there. There's a big church with a big graveyard.
Marlon21 sent $15. Good job, my friend. Please don't pay any taxes to the Danish government from this donation. If you do some content, I will donate more, like if you go to Lidl.
Who is this guy? Who is this guy? They don't have any supermarket in this town. No supermarket. I'm just filming all the cars. They speed. I don't want to go back to that woman with her garden. My hostel is up there. Let me sit down on the bench here and think about what we can do. What can we do? Everything is so clean in this city. What if I sit there in the middle? That looks like some public.
Says, no Lidl, not even Marks and Sparks. That's how posh this area is.
Yeah, they don't have a supermarket. That looks like a public area. I guess they don't have a public area where you can sit and relax. No, it's just a bus stop.
Marlon 2151 says, Bjorn, how long are you staying there?
I'm staying here for 2 days. But apparently there's no public benches anywhere. Maybe over there. But that's very close to the angry woman.
Public PP area.
The angry woman is over there. I see a public bench over there. Maybe I could just buy a beer there. See if they are open, and then I can buy a beer there. See if they are open.
Stinkstiefel_Bill says, did the police arrest you, Bjorn?
No, there's no police. See, you can even order food for me. Table 13, order food. You can even order a beer for me. Well, let's go inside and get a beer.
@ram_skank says, do a Danish P walk. @Mef Buckley says, can't even order from a human anymore.
Oh, they're closed. They're closed. Oh, they're closed. They're closed. Okay, then we have to go over to the bench over here. They're closed already.
@FluffyD5P says, get of my land, me loves.
I don't want to go back to that lady. Okay, let's check if there's a
At
bench.
Sean 864 says, for helvete Satan no beer.
I got beer in my bag. I got 2 beer in my bag.
A tram_skank says, everything closed the village.
There's literally not a single soul on the street. Nice car. Maybe it's only rich people who live here. Here's a bench. Good old bench.
At Stinkstiefel_Bill says, are you urinating in my bloody garden?
I found a bench. Nice. Good old bench. They drive very fast here. No, at least we can
At
smoke a cigarette.
Stinkstiefel_Bill says, did you clean up the piss from her garden?
No, I did not. That's probably her husband looking for me.
A tram_skank says, that's my bloody garden wall.
We can smoke a bloody cigarette here. If it's allowed, I don't know.
At Stinkstiefel_Bill says, me bloody garden.
We can also go to my
At
hostel.
Marlon 2151 says, why did you go to this town? There is nothing there.
Yeah, why? That's a good question. Why? I don't know.
Attitian1 says, Bjorn, I miss you, please get drunk, thanks. At Stinkstiefel_Bill says, you need a license to smoke in the UK.
I wonder what that is over there. What is all the light? Is that a hotel or something? I don't know.
913 says, holy shit dude, you live dude, scale. A tram_skank says, he went there to pee on her garden wall.
No, that was a mistake. Okay, here's the village. You are here.
151 says, where is Bossowin?
You are there.
Attitian1 says, that is a pub, Bjorn, get to it right now.
No, the bar is closed. The bar is closed. We have to go back to the
At
hostel.
Sean 864 says, you take a goiler hand and a goilator is no difference.
I want to get out of here. Let's go back to my hostel.
Trader 33 says, fuck it dude.
We'll go back to my hostel. They serve.
At Momok Swashia says, it's time for Mubaya.
The hostel serve beer till 11 o'clock.
Attitian1 says, time to find pub that is open dough.
I hope they have internet.
At Buckhorn Imports says, get drunk and tell Gowl a joke.
It looks like someone peed there.
At Pontus 2913 says, I'm opening a Warbug at 10.2 in the middle of the week. Fuck it dude, I have to walk to school. Tom ow wow skal.
Very quiet.
Attitian1 says, please get out of here dude, it's so boring.
It's so quiet. We go to the hostel. They're open till 11.
At Sean 864 says, it's over. At Ultradrums says, nice place Bjorn. At Rogue Trader 33 says, how many hostels have you stayed at in your life?
Many.
At Ram_skank says, get out of there, it's all closed like a box in a dark room.
It's all closed. It's very quiet. We go to my hostel. They're open till 11 o'clock. Very good hostel.
At Ward 4K says, that's 1 hour 45 minutes to get fucked up.
Yeah, that's good.
At Romeo Berg Camp 1 says, I farted loud and my cat ran away.
Oh my god. That's not good.
At Pontus 2913 says, no it can the overbwobwobwobwobwobwobwonikus.
Well, I found the public toilet now.
At Atian 1 says, Bjorn him already 14 vodka shots in.
Really? I didn't know you drink.
At Regent Onunenti says, hostel beer for the win. At Pontus 2913 says, show us all around the hostel guapa beer. At Enzo_77,770 says, is this Danish werewolf in London? At Ram_skank says, is there gorilla hands and birds in that dark area?
I don't know. It looks very scary here. Oh my god.
At 11112 says, hello Bjorn, can you blow me a kiss? At Pontus 2913 says, go search for Clapsaddle at the hostel, maybe it's haunted dude.
No, there's a big graveyard at the church, but I'm too scared to go there. I will not go there in the dark.
At Stinkstiefel_Bill says, all wound, all wound, all wound, all wound. At Ram_skank says, if they smile at least you will see M.
No, there are people from Nepal.
At Ward 4K
They
says, check behind you.
There are people from Nepal and from India. They work in the shops here.
At Stinkstiefel_Bill says, why did you pee on my bloody garden wall?
It was a mistake. I didn't know. I didn't know it was so posh.
At GraceBud 5413 says, I found her Instagram, she has pics of you peeing in her garden.
Oh my god. She's definitely gonna call the police now.
At Stinkstiefel_Bill says, there is an orc behind you.
Oh my god.
At GraceBud 5413 says, she wrote that you are Eurotrash swine.
I think you're lying.
At GraceBud 5413 says, it was clearly marked wildflowers.
Yes, but how could you find her Instagram? That's impossible.
At Stinkstiefel_Bill says, she published pictures of you lol.
She did? Is it true?
At Ultradrums says, Bjorn painted the roses red.
Oh my god. Is this really happening?
At Pontus 2913 says, try hard behind you 200 meters, watch out dude.
Oh my god. How could she take a picture? I didn't see her have a camera in her hand.
She did not, Bjorn. Grace Bud is a troll.
Yeah, because I didn't see her have a camera in her hand. There was no camera in her hand.
At Enzo_77,770 says, maybe it's gone viral.
Oh my god. It's gone viral.
At Ram_skank says, it's all over Facebook. Danish man pees on my bloody garden wall. Posted by Karen. Whoa, whoa,
Oh my god.
whoa, whoa. At Stinkstiefel_Bill says, don't get mugged by an orc. At GraceBud 5413 says, why are you such a disrespectful tourist? Suwine England doesn't tolerate Suwine, they are civilized. At Sean 864 says, behind you. At Ward 4K says, dude, no joke, there was a try-hard behind you.
I have my card here.
At Pontus 2913 says, you did not see her because
I think they have Wi-Fi. So connect to my Wi-Fi. I just connect to their Wi-Fi. Very hot. This place is so nice.
At Pontus 2913 says, okay, this place is 100% haunted, dude.
Yeah, it is.
At Sean 864 says, stop it now or. At Ram_skank says, connect to my bloody garden wall. At GraceBud 5413 says, the garden lady you peed on has warned the pup about this swine. At Gunther_Brookin Pup says, it looks like a good Muslim-free zone. And 64 says, this place. At Sean 800. At Ward 4K says, this the hostel? At Ram_skank says, at Salty Pepper 123 says, are you weeing on my bloody wall? At Atian1 says, Grace, but stop using up all the bandwidth, we're trying to have a good stream here. At stinkstiefel_Bill says, the garden woman saw your snake.
I don't get this one. No, I don't want, but it's more.
At Pontus 2913 says, it's lagging like a Nico.
No, but normally they give me like I don't want.
At Gracebud 5413 says, are you weeing on my bloody garden wall?
This hostel is amazing, I tell you.
At Turtleheaded 2751 says, Bjorn, you old fart.
See, there's a fireplace. Look.
At Gracebud 5413 says, that's my bloody garden wall, you swine Euro trash. At Enzo_77770 says, wow. At Goldus Money 1 says,
sit outside.
I figure it out now.
You can sit outside.
At Ram_Skank says, will you shit on my bloody garden wall after a Guinness?
There's no internet outside, I forgot. Cannot sit outside. There's no internet.
At Big Snakey says, ask if they believe black lives actually matter.
Cannot sit outside. There's no internet. Wait, there is?
At Ward 4K says, this place is really nice and safe.
I have internet.
At Dixpix says, I've got a brand new combine harvester. Wow, wow, wow.
It's an IPA.
Attitian1 says, Bjorn, does Bosserin ever want children? Attitian1 says, Bjorn, stop ignoring your brother, please.
Can I give you a tour of the hostel? It's very hot.
At Enzo_77770 says, free electricity here. At Gracebud 5413 says, first he vandalizes an ancient Roman stone wall, then proceeds to wee on a nice civilized white person's garden wall. Swine.
Here's the living room.
At Turtleheaded 2751 says, hi Jens, you old fart.
Here's the living room.
At Big Snakey says, looks like a good light for you.
Library.
At Ram_Skank says, snakebite bloody garden wall peen coming from Denmark. Much love. Wow. 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 Wow.
He was
At Ram_Skank says, snakebite bloody garden wall peen coming from Denmark. Much love. Wow. 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 Wow.
Here's another room.
At Copium E8Z says, EPA 2. At Glass of Water 87 says, Scar Al. At Sean 864 says, Ja on Clow Art Ardalia. At Pontus 2009 or 77,770 says, Maybe this is a hostel for recent released prisoners. At Enzo_77,770 says, wow. At Romeo Berg Camp 1 says, how many logs have you dropped? At Thiesandlo says, figure it out, black person. At Pontus 2913 says, this fucker is haunted unless % otherwise, show us the goddamn basement Nikia. At Sean 864 says, LLLLL. At Ram_skank says, Nekano, don't let the stream end. At Big Snakey says, well, ease the rats in the kitchen, Bjorn. At Jacket says, where are we? At Enzo_77,770 says, is it loud enough for you to hear TTS? Skull. At GraceBut 5413 says, this is one of those illegal immigrant hotels, that's why Bjorn fits in and acts like one. At Stinkstiefel_Bill says, come back here. At Salty Pepper 123 says, are you bloody peeing on my wall? At Stinkstiefel_Bill says, why are you so far away from us, you swine? At Thiesandlo says, more BS. At Ram_skank says, my bloody garden wall, you knee guard. At Jacket says, Poor doesn't even talk to us at this content or non-tent. At Enzo_77,770 says, stop peeing on the bar. At Ram_skank says, if there isn't a bloody garden wall included, I'm not bloody interested. Wow. 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 At Salty Pepper 123 says, Scal Gens. At GraceBut 5413 says, The garden wall lady is rounding up a posse with pitchforks and shovels to come serve up some country justice. At Enzo_77,770 says, clean your socks with the floor. At Regent Onunenti says, English word for underwear, knickers knickers it is. At Ram_skank says, I once had a garden, then a Danish man urinated on it. Wow. At Goldus Money 1 says, where do white women at? At Pontus 2913 says, wow 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 whoa 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 wow wow wow. At Jacket says, does this hotel come with free bed bugs? At Stinkstiefel_Bill says, are you peeing on me bloody garden wall?
I will live. I will live.
At Pontus 2913 says, one mobar askar I'm feeling all warm and cozy neck here.
I will live.
At Enzo_77,770 says, wow rat wow 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 rat wow. At Salty Pepper 123 says, are you bloody walling on my pee? At Kazarian_magic says, wow, cheers from the Kazarian crew.
I want to take a cigarette.
At Stinkstiefel_Bill says, bloody garden wall. At GraceBud 5413 says, imaging being so rude to take off shoes in pub and walk around. At Atian1 says, Bjorn father I am here. At Jacket says, why is my pee bloody? At Ram_skank says, we are leave my bloody garden wall alone. At Pontus 2913 says, wow dude. At Enzo_77,770 says, Bjorn if you rewind you will see something run across the screen, the place is infested, get out of there and one just don't pee.
I don't know what you are talking about.
At Regent Onunenti says, Bjorn fits the UK much better than Denmark.